Thank you, Madam President. I make a motion, I rise to make a motion.
Please do.
Whereas the senator from Legislative District 6 has engaged in conduct unbecoming of a senator, including publicly issuing and promoting social media and video messages encouraging violence against and punishment of American citizens, and making threatening statements declaring, quote, political destruction, unquote, of those who disagree with her views, the Senate from District 6 has damaged the reputation of the Arizona State Senate by her actions. Therefore, in accordance with Article 4, Part 2, Section 11 of the Arizona Constitution, under which the Senate may discipline its members for disorderly behavior, as well as Section 221B of Mason's Legislative Manual, I move that the senator from District 6 be censured by the Senate.
Thank you, sir. Senator Rios?
Madam President, I second the motion and I request a roll call vote.
Thank you. Senator Contreras, you're next.
Madam President, I second the motion for a roll call vote.
And a second on the roll call. Members, we have had a request for a roll call vote. We'll get the ladies to get that set up on the computer. And as soon as we do, then anybody that wants to explain their vote at that time, they certainly can do so if they choose to. So give us just a moment, please. All right. Remember, the system is now open. Those in favor of the motion, please vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. The Senate will now vote. First one on the board is Senator Rogers. Senator, would you like to explain your vote? Senator Rogers?
Madam President, members, I rise to explain my vote.
Please do.
Freedom of speech is one of the most precious rights we have under heaven. This censure is nothing more than an attempt to limit my speech. I represent hundreds of thousands of people, and the majority of them are with me, and they want me to be their voice. You are really censuring them. I do not apologize. I will not back down. And I am sorely disappointed in the leadership of this body for colluding with the Democrats to attempt to destroy my reputation. In the end, I rejoice in knowing I do and say what is right. And I speak as a free American, regardless of the actions of this corrupted process today. And with that, I vote nay.
Thank you. Senator Rios, you're on the board.
Thank you, Madam President. Point of personal privilege, permission to explain my vote.
Please do.
You know, they say when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And I believe the senator from LD6 has proudly shown us who she is. It's not a sweet grandmother. It's someone who has gleefully called white nationalists patriots, called for hanging political enemies, called Zelensky a globalist puppet for Soros and the Clintons, and the list goes on and on. I'm not sure what is sweet about any of that. In fact, to me, it's sickening. I don't believe our action today will have any effect on this behavior, but it must be done. I do want to ask, what makes this moment different? Let's not pretend that this isn't the first, second, third, or even fourth time we've seen this sort of racist, bigoted, and anti-Semitic talk from the senator. This is not an aberration in behavior. It is the default. Imagine if we had to come together and had done this the very first time. What a powerful message that would have sent. Nevertheless, this is still a powerful message. There was power, I believe, in our bipartisan response to this. I'm grateful, and I take small hope in knowing that it's still possible for our caucuses to come together and agree collectively what is wrong, to rise as one body and say, this is abhorrent, and we will not tolerate it. In this political climate, this has sadly become a courageous act, and I want to thank you all for that. Is censure enough in the face of what we've seen? I think more could be done, but this is a start. And we have yet to see if the governor, whose PAC spent $500,000 to elect this person, who just last week stood with and defended her, will side with decency instead. You cannot force someone to stand on the right side of history, but one can hope. The thing with racism, with anti-Semitism, is that they grow like a dark weed in people's hearts. With the right elements, that weed can wilt and die. But if left unchecked, or when that weed finds a tolerant environment, it grows and spills out into the world, infecting us all. When we see this hateful behavior and we ignore it, we are complicit. Our silence will not protect us. We must have the courage to hack it away, to pull it out at the root and let it shrivel in the sun. We cannot let it grow because weeds left unchecked choke out all other life. Today, I think we have hacked away a small part of this weed, and I hope we can remember this moment. In a dark hour, we stood together. As Arizona senators, we looked hate in the eye and said, "You're not welcome here." I sincerely hope it's not the last time. Thank you, Madam President.
And you vote?
And I vote aye.
Thank you, ma'am. Members, have you all voted? Members, have you all voted? Senator Gray, you're on the board.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to explain my vote.
Please do.
I made the motion. I do believe in the motion. I support it, obviously, by my green up there. But I do want to say one thing. One, I appreciate the professionalism we have here. I want to make it clear to everybody that I am opposed to the kind of rhetoric that we've heard. But as a senator, I also separate personality from policy. And I hope all in this body will do the same thing. If a bill comes up, it shouldn't matter who the sponsor is. I intend to look at the policy and not the person. And I hope, again, that the rest of our members will focus on that too. And I look forward to supporting good policy regardless of the sponsor. And with that, Madam President, I vote aye.
Thank you, sir. Senator Turan, you're on the board.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam President, I rise to explain my vote.
Please do.
Thank you. I rise in support of this action that we are taking today. Like it was said by the Senator in District 27, question if it's enough. If it's enough when you think about who the senator from District 6 considers her enemies. I don't take it lightly. Nobody should be taking it lightly. It merits more than just a censure. This incitement to violence is unconscionable, and what we have seen in this country as more violence against government officials at all levels continue to rise. School board members all over the state and all over the country are experiencing incredible attacks and threats of life. Our Secretary of State, she has weekly calls that threaten, with people threatening, that with people issuing death threats. And governors all across the country. We know the governor from Michigan, there was a kidnap attempt against her. And the statements from the senator from District 6 signal to aggressors that their actions are acceptable and even encouraged, and that we still having to make statements against calls for political violence after these events on January 6th is a disgrace to modern American history. And the senator from District 6, I'm sorry. Those comments were atrocious. And yes, we have freedom of speech, but we're not free from the consequences of our speech. Members, we need to look at this board. I'm glad that we're seeing this green. I'm glad to see the bipartisanship. I fear for the safety of every member, actually, in this chamber, because following up the comments of why we have the censure, there were even more threats of how a career or more destruction can happen personally, that it was going to be done personally by the member from Senate District 6. It doesn't feel safe, and this action doesn't seem enough, or doesn't feel enough. We need to move to expel a member from District 6. Thank you. With that, I vote yes.
Senator Leach, you are next.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to explain my vote.
Please do.
Madam President, this is only my my fourth year at the Senate. This is a special place where 30 of us come together for a period of days, sometimes long, sometimes not so long, and we do the work of government. And the founders made sure that it wouldn't be easy, because if it was easy, we know what we can do when it's hard. Think of it if it was easy. But when this body comes together to sit as a unit, we sit as the Senate. as the Senate. Now, in this particular seating arrangement, last couple of years, our friends on the left have been on that side, and the right has been on this side. But we all are the Senate. That is important. That is important to the state of Arizona, and that is important to each and every person that we represent in our individual districts. And when everything goes merrily along and we get out in 65 days with a balanced budget and we sing happy whatever on Sine Die and we even hug each other across the aisle, it's fun. We really have fun making $24,000 a year. But like all families, things happen. And why they happen, we don't know. But they happen. And once something happens in a family to disrupt it, I don't know what you did in your family, but we had the family discussion around the kitchen table. Now, being a youngster, that was not a trip that you wanted to make. But here, we're among equals. And whether you are on the left side or the right side, whether you're in minority leadership or majority leadership, the body comes first. The unit comes first. We work as a unit to put out good governance for the people of the state of Arizona. That sometimes gets lost in our individual battles on individual bills and all the amendments and why didn't you vote this way? But when you look at it, when you're able to step back at it and look at it as one package, you realize that there aren't 30 districts here. There's one. There's one for the state of Arizona. So if and when a problem comes up, we don't look to our friends in the press to solve it, although, believe me, they would be more than glad to solve it. Or friends on the East Coast that would love to write about this article and the disjointedness of a caucus or disjointedness of our body. This vote today is not very much fun. It's a terrible vote to have to take. Because what we are doing to a duly elected member by her constituents is saying too much. That is over, threatening, with threatening language. Some would call it abusive language. Some would call it anti-Semitic. There are a number of things that it could be called. That's not my job today. We have collectively addressed something. We have made our statement to the senator from LD6, and I would hope, beyond hope, that once this is done, that our family gets back together, that we go back to work and complete the work that we were sent here to do, to complete a budget, to get K-12 funding, to get retirement programs, to get pension funds, to get money for our DD folks, to do something in the health area, to do something in infrastructure, all those things, and not let this vote get in our way. We have found the problem, we have addressed the problem, and we pray to our Lord that this will take care of the problem and we can get on with the business at hand. With that, Madam President, I vote aye.
Thank you, Senator Leach. Senator Otondo, you're next up.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to explain my vote.
Please do.
I just want to respond to words on freedom of speech. You see, freedom of speech is not absolute. Freedom of speech does not give you the right to be a bully, to dehumanize people. It does not allow you to have slander or many other things. I think that's the problem here. Freedom of speech, when abused, has ramifications. What was spoken was, I have freedom under heaven, freedom of speech. And my words to you is that is not freedom of speech. That is bullying and dehumanization. And that is below hell. And with that, I vote aye.
Thank you, ma'am. Members, have you all voted? I forgot he was up there. Senator Mendez, I apologize. I forgot you were up there. How do you vote? Up or down, please? Would that be a thumbs up, sir? Are we nodding? Yes, Senator Mendez votes aye from his office. Thank you, sir. Members, have you all voted? Thank you. Before I vote, I am going to explain my vote. I hadn't planned on doing it, but since there were some comments made on the board, I feel I need to as leader of our caucus. This is not a Democrat or a Republican thing. This is 30 members of the Senate body that make up their own decisions, each and every one of them based on their constituents' ask, based on what we were sworn to do, our sworn oath. This certainly is not something I wanted to do. I struggled with it, as all of our members did. It hurts us, it pains us to have to do this. And we do support First Amendment, freedom of speech. We absolutely support it. We fight battles over it. But what we do not condone is members threatening each other, to ruin each other, to incite violence, to call us communist. We don't do that to each other. And if you guys know, when I run the floor here, as all past presidents, we don't tolerate that amongst our members. We have respect for each other. So this is not about freedom of speech, because God knows everybody has that right, and we should protect that right to its fullest. But that does not give you leeway to threaten people or say whatever you want and then claim it's under freedom of speech. We as elected officials are held to a higher standard, and we must represent our constituents, all of our constituents. And with that, I vote aye. The system is now closed. The secretary will now record the vote. By a vote of 24 ayes, 3 nays, and 3 not voting, you have passed MIS 001, signed in open session.